cheer, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, whenever you hear that theme song, you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk. Time for me to bid St. Kitts and Nevis a very pleasant night. So too to the entire Eastern Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora, I say greetings to all who are logged on to ziz.com on the World Wide Web. I know that some of you are in Africa, there's some of you in Asia, there's some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good morning, and in some cases, believe it or not, I can say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves, and we are all suffering the same fate. We are all still worried about this coronavirus, or this coronavirus-induced pandemic, I should say. And we are getting there. I saw some figures, I think it was yesterday, and it seemed like we are getting full control of the situation, and kudos must go out to our health officials. Kudos must go out to those on the front line. And how can we forget the marshals, Dr. Hazel Laws, the Chief Medical Officer, and the Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, as well. They have been doing a great job, and words cannot express the commendation for these people. I haven't seen today's figures, but these figures as of yesterday, there were no confirmed cases, a total of 2,625 cases total, 419 in Nevis, and 2,206 in St. Kitts. The active cases, though, are 328 total, and thank God we've had no more deaths. The figure still stands at 21 too many. But very comforting, though, is the upward trend in terms of our vaccinations. The adult population vaccinated to date, the second dose, 71.9%, we can say 72%, and our first dose was 76.5%, and that's good. That's good, and we're looking forward to being home for Christmas, and looking forward for getting back to some semblance of normalcy because our economies are hurting, people are hurting, but we understand that we needed that resilience. And the fact the figures to date for the vaccinations just come to hand. 72.1% second dose and 76.6% of the adult population that have been vaccinated. In terms of the children between 12 and 17 years, some 11.6% have got their first dose and 8.2% of that target population, 12 to 17 years, have been vaccinated. And I feel proud when I hear some of my colleagues that with their level of vaccination. So in spite of all the setbacks, in spite of all the promotion of hesitancy, I think our people have now got it and doing the right things. Getting vaccinated, adhering to the protocols. But once you're vaccinated, once you roll up, it's highly unlikely that you'll be hospitalized, and certainly, unless you've had some other conditions, you won't die. And that's good news. To all who have lost loved ones, I extend my condolences. I understand my colleague and the cabinet secretary lost her families, and I want to extend condolences to her. And I want to tell the Calypsonian, this respectable woman is hard to replace. And always respect your elders. To fabricate the things you're fabricating, which I won't repeat, I think, Calypsonian, please, you need to desist. Today, or in fact, yesterday, the 24th, was marked as the anniversary day, or United Nations Day, which is being celebrated today. But in fact, it is, I should say, the 24th of October. It is the 24th of October, way back in 1945. Way back in 1945, the United
Whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, between my brethren, kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. So whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, between my brethren, kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
have lost me for a while. Let's see what's happening, my Twitter family. Yes, I understand that you lost me for a moment, so I reflect a bit on what I was saying. And I was saying that a former Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Jan Eliasson, articulated in 2011 that lasting solutions require that the pursuit of peace, development, and human rights must take place in parallel. There is no peace without development. There is no development without peace. And there is no sustainable peace and development without respect for human rights. If one of these three pillars is weak in a nation or a region, the whole structure will tumble down because it's weak. Therefore, walls and barriers between these areas must be taken down. And the UN Charter I referred to, some people refer to it, as a matter of fact, as a global constitution. We are told that the United Nations were not intended to create a world state. Instead, it was created to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, to establish conditions under which justice and respect for the obligations arising, I should say, from treaties and other sources of international law can be maintained, and to promote social progress and better standards of life in larger freedom. In the words of Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States, he expressed the view that the fundamental purpose of the United Nations is to be the eye of the nations, to keep watch upon the common interests. Happy United Nations Day. And it is in this context our program, Straight Talk, keeps the eye of the Federation on all issues of public interest, whether they are legal, environmental, technological, social, economic, and or political issues. We keep the eye of the Federation on these issues. And I thank God for this opportunity to come before you once again in this dialogue on Street Talk. Because we have a marketplace of ideas and opinions. But as your host, I would hasten to remind you of the late Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who served as a United States Senator for some 24 years. He was from right here in New York. And who is credited for making this facetious but very astute remark, quote, "Everyone is entitled to his own opinion, but not his own facts." I repeat that. Everyone is entitled to his own opinion, but certainly not to his own facts. What I submit, and I believe that this is what Senator Moynihan meant, is that on Straight Talk, we entertain all shades of opinions. And yes, our opinions can and will differ. But those opinions expressed here on Straight Talk must be, underlined, must be based on factual truths. And in recent times, there has been much discussion surrounding an inexplicable perception and a growing concern to many about something called the cancel culture. Now, this cancel culture is an insidious attempt at personal destruction, an attempt to cancel you, with the ultimate aim of stripping you of your formal authority or power and or your platform, because your beliefs, your actions, and or your politics do not align with theirs. Now, while the term itself may be new and catchy to some of us, truth be told, cancel culture has been around in St. Kitts and Nevis for decades. How many of us remember when some in politics wanted to cancel the formal authority of the late Premier Llewellyn Moore, may his soul rest in peace? They took his picture and plastered it all over St. Kitts, on every lamppost, showing him in a compromised situation or in a position contrary to that which was expected of the leader of the Labour Party and the head of government. That was cancel culture. Well, right now, they want to cancel me and cancel straight up because their beliefs and their actions and all their politics do not align with mine. But I have news for them, because I read my Bible, and my instructions come from Psalm 32 and verse 9, which says, "Be ye not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto you." That is the King James Version of the Bible. And you know that there are countless translations of the Bible. And I think it's the New Living Translation, I think is that. I stand to be corrected, NLT, which reads, "Do not be like a senseless horse or mule that needs a bit and a bridle to keep it under control." So they can cancel me. And I know you said that wherever I go, you are going with me. So I can assure you that I will continue to be here with you and for you, my people. And I wish to reiterate at this moment that I am committed to a stronger, safer future in St. Kitts and Nevis. Nothing has ever happened to me that has diminished my commitment. Nothing has happened to me that has diminished, beg your pardon, my commitment to the people of East Bass State and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Wherever you are in the world, I want to reassure you of that. There's ample time, as I said before, to discuss the do's and the don'ts for those who continue to call me. I say to you, there's ample time to discuss the how and why. And there's ample time to discuss the where and when. But for now, let us focus on our safety and our security. Let us focus on lives and livelihoods as we continue to fight the battle against this deadly coronavirus that has wrecked too many lives. It has wrecked too many lives and caused too many deaths in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. People seeking or holding public office willingly, and those who publicly and voluntarily contribute to the public debate beg your pardon, offer themselves up for scrutiny, and in so doing, they become public figures. Furthermore, the minute you put yourself in public and offer your opinion, you are likely to be scrutinized, and that cannot be considered an attack on anyone. It is a careful examination of something you said or would have done in order to discover information or to determine the factual content of your statements. That's what Straight Talk is all about. We fact check you. For example, Dwight Stefan, Sam Condor, Aaron McMahon, and others have sought to live in the public eye. They advance their personal opinions in public, so they must be scrutinized publicly. They want the media for themselves, especially on Friday, to say what they wish about me and other matters. Are you saying I cannot come on Monday and not Thursday and bring you the facts because I'm an ambassador? No way. For as long as God continues to bless me with this big head and a brain to think, and this big mouth, the tongue to talk, and my two big eyes, the sight to read, I will not be quiet. This cancel culture will not be allowed to break down the constitutional structure that guarantees our fundamental rights and freedoms. The one I refer to most is the freedom of expression. A goal or aim to strip me of my God-given power and platform called Straight Talk. When they chat stupidness like this, stupidness I call it, real stupidness. When they talk stupidness like this, what am I supposed to do, my family? When they talk these stupidness, I will have to address them.
Whether an ambassador should take part, absolutely not.
Take part in what?
Well, the radio programs,
Oh, okay.
absolutely not. That is really wrong. That is out of order.
Okay.
You're supposed to be representing all the citizens, like the government is supposed to be representing all the countries. You cannot take part in a radio program where you're attacking one half of the citizenry every week. That is just wrong. I mean, everybody knows that is wrong. I don't know why people are pretending that they don't understand that is wrong.
As again, you're not attacking anyone. Careful with your language. You're a public figure. You prefer public opinions. You are scrutinized. It is a careful examination of what you would have said, so we can discover information or determine the factual content of what you say. Chat your stupidness Friday, and I bring the facts Monday. That's how it goes. For example, you said this about ghosts, but this is all right.
Churchill used to like his drinks, so he'll drink and so on, excessively sometimes. And one of his colleagues met him one night in the corridor and said to him, "Churchill, Winston, you are drunk." And he replied to his colleague, "Yes, I'm drunk, and you are stupid." He said, "But you know what? Tomorrow I will be sober, and tomorrow you will still be stupid." And it reminds me of ghosts. He either drunk or stupid, but whatever it is, even when he gets sober, he'll still be stupid.
Yes. Ghosts is stupid. But stupidness. But what should we expect anything, or should we expect anything better? And you yourself considered this. Sam, you yourself consider this.
They don't credit me, and I don't make no fuss about that, because that is not for me. What I know, once I know what I'm doing, is what I believe, what I think. I'm not saying that I am no scholar, I'm not brain, I know anything, I know everything. I'm not saying that. In fact, The best that could be said about me is that maybe I was an average student, and you don't have to be more than that too. You know, but people think that I'm stupid. I ain't got no sense. I always have to follow what people say.
Imagine that. What he thinks. So should we expect any better from Kondo? You know, every time I lecture Sam, he runs for his Tamarind Tree lawyer, or rather his host went lawyer, who never won a case in court. Matter of fact, the judge called him a liar when his impropriety with the Gwenny Saley estate was uncovered. But Dwyer asked the fan, all he can do is abuse. He's been always abusing for a long time. But all he has is a hot mouth and nothing else.
Patches need to leave Sam Kondo alone. Patches cannot present his record to the country and defend his record and defend it successfully. Sam is a decent man. Sam is a faithful servant, a man of integrity. Sam has earned his place in the history books of this country, and he has a stellar place in the history books of this country as a servant of this country. Sam is a star, not you, Patches. You're not no star. This is gonna get out of hand, you know. When I say out of hand, do not start something you can't finish, Patches. Do not do it. You're a lightweight. You're not a heavyweight.
I know he's a good boxer, because if I tell you something when he fired a box at that lady, he ought to, God bless, it's intercepted and stop it. But Sam can only redeem himself if he tells the country why for 20 years the yes snub him and continues to do so even as we speak. He must tell the country about this, my straight out family.
I had made several attempts to have the matter with Sam and the difficulties with the visa resolved. I had sent my Attorney General then, Delano Bart, to Washington to find out exactly what was the problem. And I myself had engaged the Secretary of State at that time, Colin Powell, when we were in Quebec City at the Summit of the Americas of heads of government. I had become very concerned about the situation because Sam still could not travel to the United States, that is. I eventually made my email of our leaders in the Caribbean at that time, who was Peter Patterson. I told him what was happening, that it was becoming an embarrassment to us. And he said, well, let us engage the Secretary of State directly now that we are all here in one place. And so there was arranged a meeting. My officer, Isaac, Kevin Isaac, High Commissioner, at that time he was in Washington. And so he got the meeting together where we sat down, Powell, myself, and Patterson, and discussed the matter. Powell said he was going to look into the matter when he got back to Washington, and he did. And he wrote us afterwards to explain what the problem was. There was information on his file placed there which he, as the Secretary of State, could not in any way interfere with because it was put there by other agencies apart from the Secretary of State office on his file. To be frank with you, the matter was so sensitive that I didn't share it with the rest of my cabinet. Just me and Sam understood, and the Attorney General understood what was happening.
Yes, he can redeem himself. I give him some time, because I'll read the notes verbals, the diplomatic notes from the United States of America. Sam Kondo may also redeem himself, well, if he answers this question from a caller, this question which he dodged on the Panic radio station.
I listen to the program and I'm quite interested in the program, and were born in the 80s, so a lot of the history I'm not aware of. I'm quite aware of the 67 incident you're speaking about, because fortunately for me, I met two men in Anguilla who told me about it. But what I wanted to ask Mr. Sam Kondo a question too. Remember during the 2015 election campaign, I think I overheard you talking about some kind of assassination of Zambo by the former Prime Minister. You see, maybe you were saying he was involved in it.
Watch it.
And you also spoke about...
Okay.
No. He strayed.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
He strayed.
No.
Yes.
Don't want to.
Carla, we don't want to go down that line like you're going right now, you know? So I don't know if you could come with some other perspective.
In different instances, it'll be good for everybody to understand. I heard Mr. Kondo speak about something with Zambo and money and when he didn't...
Okay.
He didn't get it.
Let's take a different call.
That's part of the cancel culture. They can't face the truth. So Sam can redeem himself, Sam Kondo, if you tell the country more of what you know about this unsolved, high-profile killing. You can tell the country about this.
What I could say to Douglas is that I know that the Jambo had given him money, he had loaned him money, and he had invested. And just before Zambo died, there was a meeting between Halva, myself, and Zambo about how he could recover his monies. Halva was supposed to organize a meeting with Zambo and Douglas to make those arrangements. Those meetings were organized. But shortly after that, Zambo died, shot to death.
So yes, come redeem yourself. What are the facts? As for Dwyer Stefan, he needs to come clean as well. How could Dwyer call for an investigation? You heard me right? How could he call for an investigation? He did.
This government has a lot to account for in terms of the way it has spent the people's money, it has awarded contracts, and a serious investigation is going to have to take place on the stewardship of the country's resources and its money.
Dwyer talking about stewardship of the country's resources and its money? He's talking about a serious investigation? I have said time and time again that Dwyer Astafan need to be investigated about the $55 million contract that he signed as Minister of Tourism. Where is the golf course, Dwyer? And where is the $55 million? That's the question you need to respond to.
Apparently, he wants me to explain to the nation why I, as a minister, signed an agreement. Well, it seems as though he wants me to explain why I signed. I'm told that he said he's not accusing anybody of bubble, but that he was just asking, where's the money? That's what I'm told, right? And I don't remember. But let me say what I have to say. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
That is the next commentary that we want to hear from Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan. What about solar energy? Talk about La Valley Golf Course. And I submit that there needs to be a criminal referral to the Director of Public Prosecution, Valston Graham, in both cases of Sam Kondo and his master, Dwyer Astafan. But this cancel culture, or call-out culture, has caught up with another Labour leader. And this time, In a modern form of exclusion, Douglas is being asked to dress aside and surrender his formal authority as leader. No matter how he tries to sugarcoat it now, Douglas has been caught. Time up.
What is disrespectful to me is that people want me to go and contest. With them, I am not contesting with anyone. It has never happened in our party before. For the 90 years of the party, no leader has been challenged in that way, and it is not going to start with me. I prefer if people can say that they would want me to support in that way for the extra 6 months, then I prefer not to be there. And so I ask you to consider what I have said. I wanted to clarify this matter because I think it is totally disrespectful when people are saying, oh, Douglas must go. Douglas wants to stay here forever. This is what is being said by our own comrades around. And I feel very, very disrespected when people will make statements of that kind. Of course, you can say you don't want Douglas. You can have someone else. But to say that I want to stay here forever and I must go on that kind of nonsense, I feel disrespected. I wouldn't say hurt, but disrespected, because I don't think it is necessary and I don't think it is true at all.
Yes, he can say what he wants, but even his comrades are saying he has to go. Would you believe this? My Straight Talk family? My good neighbor friend had this to say. Humbled by the commendation, my good neighbor friend, my dear brother, had this to say. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Patel. Good evening.
How are you?
My name is Casilda Newton, Liburd. Yes. So, everybody
yes.
Before, I just throw off my phone when you are asking questions. You don't get this thing from your class, or you have some bubble on me. But anyway, they put more upon you in your tongue, and the palm take you back out because they say, let you go to unity with Timothy. But under labor, he was there too, and all them split off the money by Crystal Harbor and all over too. So, cause you can't blame one. All of them were there. All the labor them were there. And some of them know they don't want unity and they don't want PAM. And no PAM work down. So they tell you out because they say you always upon them behind the Prime Minister. So let you go, Team Unity. So that's the way you're going to go out, Team Unity. Yes. Because they had the campus and my friend, the girl Gray, Mrs. Gray, used to work by Marcella, that's my partner. She going to run in your seat. But me hope she know with my cousin Jeffrey.
You know, she even went further and she said this about her leader.
Yes, I know.
Let me ask you a question, loud and clear for all to hear.
Yes.
You listening?
Yes, I'm listening.
Why you trying out your husband, Douglas?
Me not try my husband. Because I hate people that are trying out. Because when I want help and I get help from them, all who help, and a lot of people, he send the children at college, and when I want my children them go, nobody help me. So that's why you get back now, sand and sugar in the face, because if he help me and help other people who are poor, he help the rich class, that the children could go to university. So now the people them children don't study, they ain't want in the more, they shut the door upon him.
Shut the door, but Douglas. Straight Talk will therefore not allow the curtain to be closed or drawn. Straight Talk will continue to pull back the curtain on those who indulge in impropriety in this country. If freedom-loving throughout St. Kitts and Nevis stay silent and do not speak out against the impropriety of Ira McMahon and Dwight Astafan, also the disgrace that Sam Conner brought upon our country while he was Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, then that raises concern for all of us. Should Straight Talk allow these public figures to behave in a way that gives them authority to tell lies and pass negative comments on the action of others. And if your hands are not dirty, join me and let us take a stance and speak out about their conduct while in public office, as to do otherwise is to embrace hypocrisy. Straight Talk will pull the curtain back, and you will hear more and true stories of Dwyer's complicity in wrongdoings, his indulgence in dishonesty, and his unethical and morally vacant character that he displayed, especially when he had formal authority as Minister of National Security and Tourism in this country. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. You know me, and I know you. So it's time to open the lines, because Straight Talk is a participative program. The numbers are 465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. I implore you to respect others, and to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to our concern. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. At 13 before the 9 o'clock hour, with that said, I go to the lines and take my first call. Caller, you're live.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. A blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you, the family? What's going on?
I'm hearing those calls there.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. Blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you, the family?
Telephone problem. But let's see, I'm sure once we leave that we'll get over it. We will get over it. Not hearing the calls there, however. Tell me if you are. If you are, just give me a thumbs up. If not, you're hearing them? I'm not. Okay, but caller, go ahead. I'm not hearing you though.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. A blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you? How the family? Brother Patches. Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. A blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you, all the family? Brother Patches. Yeah, man. Brother Nabo here, beloved brother. Brother, let me say, man, regardless if you're ambassador.
Let's go ahead, caller. If you hear me, you go ahead. I'm not hearing you. You just go ahead.
Yes, good evening to you, Patrice. And I just can't help but tell you like it is. You are a star. Don't mind what you do yourself, but you is a star. You is a star. You know why? Because you play the clips them and Doyle can't defend. Because that's the problem. He got to talk to us, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, about Love Valley and the money that's spent down there with all the galvanized and the lumber. and up to now, no golf course. So these are the things that he got to answer the people to. Why he want to talk? Tell him the people will challenge him because he seems to have a short memory about Love Valley and the money, the $50-something million that's spent down there. But he want to talk about 67. So 2025, even before that, because Dr. Harris is the only one can ring the bell. And I want to say to the people that think it, do not be fooled. Because if you go back to labor, you're going to get taxed again from the cradle to the grave. So even when you're dead, they're going to still charge you VAT because of lack of management. Dr. Harris have not taken any loan from any bank. And look at it. For 6 years and counting, he running this country off what he call surplus. And remember under Labour in 2009, he started to create surplus. And because Douglas realized that he was moving so swiftly and feel like he will get publicity, he take it back from him and say, oh, he's going to get locked up. But trust me, Douglas are too lucky that we are not a part of America because they will have make sure check everything that he got and how he come by all the millions and billions that some of them stay in Gatwick Airport in England. May God bless you. Have a good night. I got more to talk. See you.
Thank you very much. I'm hearing you now. I'm sorry for that technical glitch, but we seem to be cooking on gas, as we say. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Hello. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me turn on this radio here. Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Dr. Ian Patches Liburd. I know you're doing great because you sound great. Anyway, you know for sure that me radical culture been telling you for years. Anywhere you go, I am coming with you because I have your short tail holding. And thank God for you. Patches, somebody could come and if you accuse somebody, they could say, well, they ain't see me. It wasn't me. But as long as your voice is being taped, you can't say it ain't them. See your voice there? And you got what it takes to show the whole world who say what you're playing. The voice of the person who been talking. As for Jerry, Mermaid Jerry, what got he upset is because the company that he recommend to build the long pier, what Cut said the woman asked him, what long thing that in the water, Cut tell her is the pier. If the company had get the bid, win the bid to build the pier, the government would have been the best government in the world, and Patches would have been the best ambassador to the United Nations, and all what he said about Patches, he would have never even remember them. Because them there, what he talking about Patches, I don't know where he get them from. He cannot remember something what happened last week. Like I said last week, he could remember what happened when he was a little boy going grammar school. But play the clip them, let the whole world know that what he's saying, he tangled up himself as a commentary lawyer. Apparently what he want me to say, why did I sign? But I'm not saying I'm not saying it didn't happen. Well, if it ain't happen, if you're saying it ain't happened, that mean it happened. So he think he talking to more stupid people like he. Play the clip them. Let people see what he was involved in. The signature for the golf course. The only thing down the golf course down there, and they cannot even be used now, is the desalination plant and the generator. Taxpayers' money down there, rotten down to nothing. And his signature signing on contract. And as for Mr. Kunomono, here are Patches. When they carry Douglas to the Labour Party, Mr. Limo asked, where are you going with he? And the first thing he did wrong was to mash up the trade union. And then he started to build the deputy, telling the deputy his wife is too greedy. Then the Monkey Hill doctor told Douglas, you have to go because you are a disgrace to the party. But here Kudumono, no, he can't go because he promised me governor. So that is why Kudumono holding on and justing upon Douglas. But if you think Douglas trusts he, and all of them who done shove down Douglas in the borehole pit and degrade him to the lowest degree on the earth. And now they take him out, they ain't even wash off his clothes and change him up and say, well, you smell fresh now. You're a new man, so we back with you together. The grandma go rub up the hand and the old dirty skin clothes what they throw in the man in the pit. Let me move somebody else get him because we're going to let me shot them tonight just a long passage. Thank you.
That's a good night, brother. One beer. Going on with you. Best of respect, my ambassador. You're doing wonders out there. I'm proud of you. I want to let you know that the country going good so far. And you must take care of yourself and continue doing wonders because then God is good. And no matter what they say, keep on playing the clip then because the clip them is more important at the moment. Because then I'm asking the Federation now to please come out fully next election and vote PLP. Next election, I asking the people of this Federation, James Davis is asking the Federation to come out fully and vote PLP. Because I do believe PLP will do a better job than the other system. The past is the past, but the future is now. And PLP is about the future of the youths. PLP will always look after the younger generation.
It's been in St. Kitts for a long time.
Nevis.
I remember, like I said.
And due to the fact of that, I'm saying, the next election, I'm asking St. Kitts Nevis, 2025, to vote PLP. Okay? Because that's what you're going for. A champ don't bow. And you got to go for the best. PLP got to be there. Anyhow, Patrice, I want to tell you now that then so far you're doing a good job and I'm very proud of you. You're doing a job that then people went out there and they couldn't do. And don't study with the backstabbers. There's a lot of backstabbers around there. And things like that. Yeah. And if you take time to study them, you will never ever come back home. So you just got to relax your mind, do what you is doing, because you know you could engineer anything in the world. If you could build a whole dock, you could build a whole road, you could pave the whole island main road. When Douglas I put down half a road, and other government to put down half a road, you put down a whole road. You put an addition to the airport and different things like this here. You understand? You give us a new bus terminal for the terminal. You understand? So then, why should you have to worry? You don't have to worry. All you got to do is sit back and relax. But then you're still working. Because you have the country business in your hands. And you have to use your head. Whether you see me or you don't hear me, yes or no, I'm always listening to you. And that's what I want you to know. I want you to pray every morning, every night. Pray. Because that's what I do to keep out of trouble. I'm only trying to keep out of trouble. Okay? Because I want to be able to be here for when you come home and the progress is come through and everything like this. I want you to be a champion. You're my hero. You're my hero, Patrice. In music, in friendship, politics, brotherhood, everything. You're my hero, brother. So don't let nobody try to stop you. You don't know young man. You come from Fishbay. You come from Fishbay.
Yes, my brother. That's James Bumpy Davis. Let's go back to the lines, caller.
Good night, my brother. Good night, people of St. Kitts, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I am not here to criticize anyone, but I am here to make right, which should be right. I'm tired of hearing these criminal activity that happened into the Federation. The situation with Billy Herbert unsolved. The situation with Zamba unsolved. Now the situation with Dwyer Ascafan unsolved. And much more to mention. But they are just talking. If these are federal crimes and public affairs, why don't the damn Attorney General, I hope he's listening, to get up off his butt and open up an investigation? Too much talking. Who can pressure the Attorney General? If the Attorney General has jurisdiction over all these unsolved mysteries, unsolved cases, and money embezzling, who can put pressure on the Attorney General? Too far, too long. It's just been echoing over and over. I mean, talk is cheap, whiskey costs money. Let's cut the BS and get down to the real stuff that should be done. The Attorney General, get up and do the right thing. Another thing I'm going to incite. People, you all can sign a petition pressuring the Attorney General. I don't know what the requirement need to pressure or make a stand. But you all have the power in your hands. Do a petition, have protest for these investigations to be unsolved and bring all these criminal acts to justice. That's all I got to say for now. But we got to cut the talking and we need action. Because if it was my brother who got murdered, I need to know. If it's my friend, I need to know. If it's money being taken, I need to know. If it is wrong, I need right. So people, cut the talking again. Get a petition. Get on the Attorney General case. The Attorney General is not there to sit down and just pick what he chooses. You got to do what is right under the law and due process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Attorney General, though, is the advisor, legal advisor to government. But when it comes to the prosecutorial matters, I believe a criminal referral or criminal recommendation, which is notice to that prosecutory body, should be Director of Public Prosecutions. But I believe there ought to be a criminal referral in these matters. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. You're live.
Good night, Honorable. Well, Mr. Patches, what I said to you tonight with your introduction is coming very, very good. But some things you left out. But I will secure you with them a little bit later in the program. But the whole trouble about it, do you need to come and tell people what he has done when he was the attorney, the tourism minister? He needs to tell people what he has done with the man for national security. You understand me? He used to harass Douglas for the people that are selling on the street. And on the way he did harassing Douglas for the people that are selling on the street. You know, and Douglas them don't want to move the people and he put down pressure. There how he became Minister of National Security. And then when he became Minister of National Security, he couldn't do no work because they were busy selling government things and can't account it for government things, you know. And these guys, like he had now, he leave up the village and went to forget where to live. Left the people them bathing in a bathroom, in a bath pan, and he over there swimming in a swimming pool. But he got the sense enough to attack you for no reason at all, just because you perceive him and doing a better work on him. But those are things that will not settle with the public. And what I want to tell any one of them people who is up for election for the Labour Party, to control the party, anyone get any endorsement from Douglas, nobody should vote for them. Nobody should vote for them because they'll be just a puppet for him. That's all there will be. Nobody at all should vote for him, for them, And you need to let the people then do their own bidding and their own work and let them move on. You can't stay there and try to control people. Like people, these guys ain't got no sense or different thing like that. But when you look at it and you see that's the kind of people there is, they still got dreams to fulfill, not for St. Kitts, for the friends and them overseas. And they still have other money to collect overseas. So they want 6 months to collect the money and take the time and collect it. But all of them is just grabanicious. You understand me? And you got plenty moral over them. So they can't talk. They can't talk. They can't come. All what they could come and say nonsense on the radio. And people backing them up. You could imagine a young man, somebody asks a statement about what happened with Zambo. And they're going to tell you, you can't entertain that. And they cut off. And the same man who talk about the thing right on the show there, right there on the show, who tell you that Zambo was supposed to meet with certain people at the time and then he was murdered. And that's all the person asked. And the owner of the radio station and the doctor there had them cut off the guy, but they can't entertain that. Look how all innocent become big radio hosts. And when they was working in government business, you couldn't even talk to them. When they existed, they ain't had no lips, no tongue, nothing at all. Every time they see you, they either try to duck you or walk straight. No, they want to meet you everywhere and call out to you. Patches, I'll be back later. Good night.
Thank you, my brother. And you're right. They have to come to the public. Answer the questions. What is your legacy? If you want to shape your legacy, let us go into that closet. The guy asks a simple question.
Listen to the program, and I'm quite interested in the program. And we're born in the 80s, so a lot of the history I'm not aware of. I'm quite aware of the 67 incident you're speaking about, because fortunately for me, I met two men in Anguilla who told me about it. But what I wanted to ask Mr. Sam Kondo a question. Do you remember during the 2015 election campaign, I think I overheard you talking about some kind of assassination of Zambo by the former Prime Minister. You see, maybe you were saying he was involved in it.
Watch it.
And you also spoke about...
Okay.
No, he gone to... He strayed.
Yeah, go ahead.
He strayed.
No.
Yes.
Don't want to.
Caller, we don't want to go down that line like you're going right now, So I don't know if you could come with some other perspective.
Different instances, it'll be good for everybody to... I heard Mr. Kondo speak about something with Zambo and money and when he didn't...
Okay.
He didn't get it.
Let's take a different call.
You have to answer the questions, but let's go back to the lines, caller, because we're going to have to get a criminal referral on these matters. I'm recommending, I'm here now, publicly, endorsing a criminal recommendation. Send that notice to the prosecutorial body that resides in the DPP's office. Mr. Graham? need an appointment with you. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hi there, caller. We're having some difficulties again with these calls. Hi there, caller. 12 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. I'm trying to get back to the lines one more time. Caller, you're live.
Good night. Yeah, good night, Patches. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, Patches, the problem and them is straight talk, right? Straight talk is a program to start. And you started just now. About how much you straight talk, you do straight talk now, Patches? About 10 to 15 years now, right?
10 years, not so long, just about under 10 years.
Under 10 years, okay. Patches,
straight up.
You know the problem with your straight talk? You're exposing them. You're exposing the wrong things they have done when they was in government. That is the problem. So they like to hate. And what I want you to play, I want you to play when the man said that he had 2 jobs simultaneously. I want you to play the clip too. Because in the Patches, this is our country. And when they come with a negative talk and saying all kind of thing about the country, about the government, we had worse than that before. And Patches in the morning, a good friend of mine called me in the state today. Tell me that he don't listen to talk show all in the morning from the Panic Factory. And a gentleman was calling me and me called your name. But you know what I tell the gentleman who called me and tell me? I tell him that I am a simple man. And when they closed the sugar industry, I went to buy a weed eater and a lawnmower. Because I decided that I going to do some work and try to encourage young men to work. And right now, Patches, I got 4 young men working with me when I get plenty jobs. I get a many job, especially under this pandemic. So Patches, let me tell you, that man was on radio, going from radio station to radio station, wasting up so much money. If he love the country and he love the people, what are you doing? Invest in some business that the young men and women in the country could get work to do something. You understand? These are people that support him, support the business. The people from Nevis to come down and support him. But what you see? Them only the bang them and talk and open the Bible and talk. They ain't trust their own people them. You see that here a young man, they're praising him so good, this guy being how good, that's the guy being praising up his wife and all kind of thing. In his job. But why he don't praise up what he own? And so how good he own be? I try to train somebody here to do jewelry too. Nothing matter that. Before I go on radio, bring down the people of this country. But anybody with good common sense and good understanding and listening to him when he talk, I sure that they will never ever talk about they will take up the radio and waste the time and talk about listening to the negative program, because he always bringing down criticism as far as they concerned. I was bringing down you want people them. Saying all kind of things about you want people them. That's why you see that Patches, I ain't have no time to waste with them. This country go more on with a unity government, or more on with an individual government. If they want unity, Patches, we know where we're going. Patches are wonderful. May God bless the Federation of St. Nevis. And God bless the Prime Minister and his cabinet, trying their endeavor best to overlook and the hurdle of this country, especially under this point, this deadly corona. Okay, then, Patches.
Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful night. We go straight back to the lines. Caller, you're live. You're live. You're live. You're live. Yes, caller. Yes, caller.
Hello, good night.
Yes,
Yes, you're live.
I just interested in what's going on in the country about food and so. Right? Agriculture and so. I don't want to hear the rest of them think of them like nonsense story back and forth ain't gonna help us. What we need to do is put more effort into the country, getting our food grow, right? I pass our brightness to them whole feel like we put like the park up over there, and they need to get that they utilize start to work on it just so they could pay money for nothing, right? Bring out some prisoners, help work on them, work in the place, bring other people who are in prison, put them to work, and let us get food. Because the boat were coming with some containers, and you know what happened? About 40 of them fall off, coming from Vancouver, Canada. And you know they ain't going to get back up them there again at all. Them they're going to last. I don't know if they were coming to sink it or whatever. We need to more focus on food and food, get more livestock. Our chickens, our goat, our cattle and so, and need to focus on that. Going this way, going that way, ain't going to help us. That cannot put on no food on our table. We need the right thing, right? We need to get food, and that's all I care about. I don't care about it. The rest who do this thing, everybody does do as they like to me when they're in power. But what happened to us? You saw the man in Jamaica get cut down and he gone. And he had a lot of crazy followers. They said they 20 of them, over 20 we can't fool one of them, but it take one of them to fool nearly 1 million of them. Because they ain't watching to see where they're going. They ain't man telling them about they're going in Ark and all them that wasting up money and giving man cause they was too blind. You see? And God said going to be a lot of false prophet. And that's what happening. And they don't know how they could catch a lot of them down under the belt. Right? And that's what happening to us here. We want to be focusing on the wrong thing. Instead of doing not build no school and the place, the aquifer place there. That's our water bed. But how you do it, I'm going to kill the country 10, 20, 40 years from now, you know. Mine, there's no plant food in there, and no school.
Okay, I think I got you. You know, there's a saying, I'm trying to remember it now. They who don't know their history will be doomed to repeat it. Somebody help me with that. But let's go back to the lines. Call your line. A caller? Yes, sir.
Good night. I want you to let them call and up to me. Alive, right? I want the whole world to hear me. Okay? I want you to let the caller know for me that St. Kitts is an independent country. St. Kitts Nevis is an independent country. And nobody here hungry. People here are only hungry if they don't like to work. And even if they don't like to work, we the workers just feed them. You understand? I come from the street of Bastille. I come from Irishtown and Newtown. You understand? And East Street, Manchester Avenue. You understand? And we never hungry yet. So the woman they need to know she place and she take back on the hungry business what she talk about. We is international, we is independent people. Is one thing, the smallest child here got a car. The smallest child here got phone. And different things like this here. Right?
Are you there, caller?
Hello?
You're live. Let's call you live.
Greetings.
Hi, they call?
Greetings, Mr. Patches.
Greetings, my brother.
And how are you, man?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm very, very, very good, you know.
Good to hear.
When persons hear you bring education to the society, why they would say you shouldn't be on the radio? Whenever conflict arises between material and spiritual values, the conscience plays an important role. Anyone who suffers from a guilty conscience is never really free from his problem until he makes peace with himself and his conscience. Mr. Patches, when I listen to Mr. Kondo saying what he's saying concerning the ambassador, should the ambassador be just a ceremonial post? We're talking about reform. We must reform our country for the future. We must do that. And many of us still don't want to change the status quo. I mean, he's saying you should be representing the people. Well, you does, bringing information, public information to the people. That's representing the people. I mean, why he must see otherwise? Why them guys always think the way of seeing things is just the way? We born with the right or the wrong. We choose whichever way we see it. But we born with the right or the wrong. And my friend Mr. Dwyer, you know, when you first brought the information to us, the people, and he responded, if he had responded in a different way, he might have been in a different situation today. You are not attacking nobody. If you're getting taxpayers' money and you're spending taxpayers' money, people want to know how you spend the money. The same if you work in a private institution, people, they want to know how you handle the money. So if something come in the ear, remember Unity had said they ain't going to run no commissioner inquiry, you know, because many times not know that. But I wouldn't say bringing these things to the light is just talk, because look at a guy earlier say pressure should be on the Attorney General. If this thing didn't come to the ear, he wouldn't have bring out them ideas that he bring out this evening. So I wouldn't say these constructive ideas is not good for the Federation, because the Attorney General or the prosecutor should be alert with sensitive things concerning our country. We shouldn't have white-collar crimes patrolling our country and no one check on them. So if you bring out information that was someone who had position in the country, getting taxpayers' money, spending taxpayers' money, and you allow the information to the public, that's not attacking. I mean, Sam Kondo, I always say, I'm disappointed in him as Sam Kondo. I thought when he relinquished the post as ambassador, he would have challenged the leadership of the party, seeing that he was talking so much about good governance. Such example, seeing that he was so much years in politics, he should show a different, consistent role as that head. Look at Dr. Timothy. He showed consistency. He ain't thrown around, and he always say he gets support from his cabinet. So what could have changed Sam from saying his unity? And here is an example to show he was showing something different. Come on, Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong and continue bringing the truth to the people, because the Bible says he must be born again. All of us have to renew ourselves. And many of us who say we in politics, we don't want to renew ourselves. We want to continue the same path. It can't be like that. Unity is a way. You got to find a way to live within that stem. So you got to clean the soul to make it some better. Take care, and you stay strong, Mr. Patches.
Thank you very much. Yes, open the wound, you said. Clean it, lest it would fester. Wow. Let's go back to the lines. Caller here always do have some very intelligible interventions, I must confess. I can sit up and listen to you all night. Caller, you're live.
Good night.
Good,
And how
good night, my dear. I am peaceful.
Man,
Yourself?
I told you already. You got them. Let it flow. Let them flow. Do not open your mouth. Just let them flow. Okay? Because all of them, even the cracker who had just come on before this man, she was something else in 2015. Now she going on the Panic Factory talking all kind of thing about you. So you don't bother with her. Just let what you have flow. And have a good night. And we'll talk hopefully sometime again. Bye.
Thank you. Have yourself a good night. A good night as well. I read Timothy chapter 5. 1 Timothy, my good brother John, the mild man, read chapter he read chapter 2, was it? I read chapter 5. It reads, to be exact, as for those who persist in sin, rebuke them in the presence of all, so that the rest may stand in fear. Let's go back to the lines. Call your live.
Patches. Tiger Flower said that he's surprised at me attacking heat and politics when I say that the government should build back the crazy house. Well, who the cap fit? Keep it on, draw the string, perforate and wear it. I never called Tiger Flower. He bought paper name. I said Tiger Flower. Well, if he guilty, put a behind in the ear. I want to say this. When Tiger Flower get on the radio, the Panic Factory, I say he read in Bible. He must remember, do not skip over Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Because Jesus said it in those 3 books. He said it to the rich man, sell your riches and give to the poor. But instead of that, he piling up his riches on earth and stretching out the hand to the poor people and tell them come and donate something, contribute something to Nancy Story program. When he turn around and say, nobody must come to his business, come beg nothing for no girls, go eat no football, no cricket, no nothing, no carnival, no calypso, no nothing. He have no money to give nobody. But yet he telling the poor come bring money to him. I wonder if he know that you piling up your money and you're not helping anybody. You ain't doing no good. God do not like that. But you see, he do not understand those things because you read in the Bible upside down. That is what Dr. Douglas said about him. Anybody reading the book upside down, you cannot understand. You just cannot understand. And what he do there now, remember he said that he want Mr. Mark Brantley, Sean Richard, and Dr. Douglas to come and sit down with him and let he advise them how to go. Well, I think it's only one of them he advised because he said he went with Dr. Douglas to have dinner. So he really advised Dr. Douglas. And since he advised Dr. Douglas come out and said that Dr. Joe disrespecting he. So what he say? So he therefore he pump craziness in Douglas' head. And see the confusion where he caused now between Douglas and, Conway and Dr. Joe and he. And Dr. Douglas come out and say he can resign from the party as leader. He can leave it up to Joe and Conway. Well, he gone on Conway's side because Conway's done so already. Anything he leader tell him do, he can do. So he not going against Conway. But he works with Dr. Joe because Dr. Joe tell him it's time to go. Time to go. And what Douglas is running from, he running from the overthrow he out of the party. Because, what goes around comes around. Remember he said he overthrew a government for 15 years, He overthrew them because he couldn't get away. And he called it overthrow. So he know what's happening now between in the Labour Party with he as the leader is overthrow he heading for. So he trying to avoid shame and disgrace come down when he say that he will step aside as leader of the party, but he's not going to step aside as the leader in the opposition, as a leader of the opposition in Parliament. So what goes around comes around, and Mr. Man who cussing you and Dr. Harris and me and everybody in rock and politics, I want to tell you something. Whenever a PCP, primary care practitioner, that means a doctor, when we go to them and they tell us what they see in medical terms, we have to learn to accept it. If we do not accept what the doctor say, that is what you call mental killing. He gonna kill you mentally because you can't believe what the doctor say gonna happen to you. And that is what bothering him. What the doctor tell him, and he come out on the radio and say what happened to he and what happened to he, and the doctor said this and said that. That is what got his brains upset. So brother, cool out. Sensible people know that you're crazy. You ain't psychic. You're crazy. And no more in some of them news will come up on the radio, chat the troop in his mouth, they doing this and they doing that. In the morning, listen to them in the panic factory, you hear them crucifying the government, set an ungrateful snake. They be. Now, practice the other thing again and I'm going now. The gentleman who said that all these things we talking. I agree that you have to talk and let the whole world know what went down, what happening. But, as you said, the DPP, he's supposed to do something about that. Investigate these things here, they cannot go unsolved. These are serious things, especially when one man will come out and say he knows Sambo give Dick Douglas money and he lend Douglas money and all this kind of thing. And when the fellow asks a question and the panic factory, you see it, them up there they want Douglas and the other man Kulumundu to be exposed. They say they ain't going down there. You better play them clips, let everybody know what's going on. Play them patches. They can't stop you and tell you they ain't going down there. Anyway, thanks for your time. Have a good night. God bless you.
God bless you as well, my dear brother. And the latest, the situation report, as I mentioned earlier, there was some confirmed, as of Monday 25th, that's today, confirmed cases in the last 24 hours were 12. There are 303 active cases, a total of 2,637 cases today, 419 on Nevis, 2,218 on St. Kitts. That's so sad. But what's good news, though, is the vaccination rate is heading in the right direction. Some 78, have I got it right? Let me make sure I give you right. 72, beg your pardon, 0.1% of the second doses and 76.6% of the first doses. We're heading in the right direction. Let's keep going, my straight dog family. Get yourself vaccinated. Let's go back to the lines. It's 25 before 10. Call you live.
Good evening.
Yes. How are you, my dear?
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Well, I'm fine.
I see your dimples.
That is one thing I want you to do for me, please. Do not stop play those tapes as fast as they come in. Play them as fast as you can, because that is what is going to put them in the grave. You have some special ed people just come on and tap your shop at night. Up to now, they're in the world so long. They can't talk for themselves. They can't think for themselves. Everything they go and they sit down by people do and they hear people say, they come on the radio with it. They're speaking about food. They don't cook. They always go by people do to look and deal. So what are them coming and speaking about food for? Leave the food for who just cook. Them don't cook. So what are them coming out every day talking about boat? They buy the radio, they have on the TV, the news I read, and they don't even know
Why did the radio and the TV just say? That's special ed. She get on the thing and she abusing the Prime Minister, say how the Prime Minister sick. You ain't seen the Prime Minister, he's sick. You ain't see how big the Prime Minister belly be, he's sick. That's the same Prime Minister who went on the platform and said they must get the house. They must get the house. Because when all the rest of them reject them because they do not pay the mortgage and what's not, the Prime Minister let them get the house. And now they on top the ear saying all sorts and all kind of things about the Prime Minister. Them kind of people there, you're supposed to put them there on it, your bottom foot, and walk on them. Don't even take them on. Don't take them on. And the lobster ain't remember what happened newly, but he remember what happened long time. He ain't say it ain't happened, but he cannot recall. Remember who are all social security and social security ain't gonna get back the money. But he ain't remember. He owe the country and he ain't gonna come tell us how we gonna get back the money. Them people, they look at them, they're going sinner, you know. They're going sinner because they remember long time, and then I remember just now. Old people in England who are in America, who are pamper, just go to prison. So I think you're going to have to, you take some American things and bring them down, so you're going to have to get that down here too. Don't care how old you be and you have a pamper, as long as you do the crime, you're going to have to go pay the time. Please. And I wish you all the best tonight. You have a pleasant
Thank you very
night.
much. I like that. Special ed. And it's not $55, you know. You're so right. It's $55 million. And it's unsolved high-profile murder. I promote a criminal referral to the Director of Public Prosecutions. I'm saying so publicly. Caller, you're live.
Your patches, again, I want to commend the CMO and the task force and Dr. Wilkinson and the security forces there in the Federation. I think they have tried the best in this spirit of this COVID. Patches, nothing perfect. We know that we got a lot of cases here. And people in quarantine, some of them, they ain't getting to some of them in time and everything. But I think that Patches, what they should do, they should get some more ordinary people and the task force. You know, if some people want to voluntarily go and they give them something, because a lot of people are working right now to help them to manage the quarantine site and these things. Because some people complain that when they time up, they cannot get out when they time up and these things. But Patrick, I was on the terminal today. And I listened to somebody had on the panic factory. And I listened to a lady come on and was saying that no case of down said. The case ain't going down. You know, so that come back about 1 and 2 cases. They're paying people to say that the case them going down and all kind of thing. And Patrick, really take the person be. The same retard who take everything out of everybody's mouth and come on the radio with it. Patrick, the same retard, right? Was 2015, I see she don't government and quarter, she won. Protesting, saying the boss is food poison, you ain't no good. The former Prime Minister want to kill people's children. And she going on and she the one now saying that
The school good, this good, that good. Patches, I can tell you, people say do not study them. But we got to come on the radio and let the people know in the diaspora. Because we got people that listen to them with the fake news and the ignorant the command of start over there. We got to challenge them, we got to counteract them. We cannot allow the command and say these negative things about the country and about Dr. Wilkins and the task force and all kind of thing. And that is not the same method. It's nothing but a slave, just walking, taking everything out of everybody mouth off and a garbage. We're supposed to go solid waste. She come on and she patriotate them and come from the radio with them. Send all kind of ignorance. But that is let me move on before the thing. I want to commend the task force again and I want the people in, not because we hear the trend going down, because Delta out there still, and we know that what the Delta could do in a quick time. Every child to go to the protocol, wear masks, and sanitize when we go into business place with them and do what we got to do. We know that sometimes that the mask of the stapling, but people, this is sinking, and we know that we always say that we are God-blessed country, and I believe that this corona, we can get out of it. Do not study them who said who got corona or we got corona. We wouldn't take the vaccine, don't get the corona. We wouldn't take the vaccine instead of the corona. You understand? And people won't take the vaccine, and the body weak, they end up in the hospital and they die, or they suffocate from it and whatever. That is again the God bless the celebration of St. Peter Nevis, God bless culture, God bless rock, jam young manners, and all those come and make a good night. All those come and make the contribution. Because we got to keep up the fight. All right, catches.
Thank you very much, and I'm in total agreement with you. It's not an attack on anyone. They come to the public, they offer their opinion, and we have a right to examine the opinion to really discover if the information they're presenting is factual. It's not fake news. That's what we do. We fact check all of them. Caller, you're live.
Yeah. Mr. Patrick, good night.
How are you, my brother?
Yeah, I am here. Now I'm reading from, and I will continue to read this here. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse chapter 2, 1 Timothy chapter 2, I exhort therefore, first, that all men, all supplication and prayer, intercession, and giving thanks may for all men, for kings, for all that are in authority, that we lead a quiet and a peaceful life, and all godliness and honesty. For it is good and acceptable in the sight of God, in the sight of God and our Savior. Mr. Patrick, when he say here, for kings and for all that in authority, they mean the Prime Minister to end it. And so.
Yes.
So they have to be praying for the Prime Minister. And I'm going to say it tonight, all right? When people believe to themselves they could do all kind of things. And I'm thanking God for a Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis. And he's a godly man. We never got one so yet. We ain't got one on the Emmanuel poor people. Because one day me telling the Bible say, blessed is the man that considereth the poor. Him man that take me on. Him man all he good for the rich people. But now we have a Prime Minister who look after the people need. And people had to cherish the Prime Minister. And here we say here, for this is good and acceptable in the sight of God. So God honor the Prime Minister. God is looking down on the Prime Minister because the work that the Prime Minister is doing, God accept it. Now, in Psalms tell you, promotion neither come from the east, west, nor north, nor south. Promotion cometh from. And this is I am not coming on the radio. All I come on the radio presently to speak, thus said the Lord. People must understand that it's God who wakes them up a morning time. People must understand that God sent them on the way. Lamentation said, they are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercy I see. People got to, supposed to be giving God thanks and praise, not pulling down the Prime Minister, not pulling down the ministers of the government. If God set them there. But you see, I'm going to tell you something, you know. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived, God will not mock. Whatever a man soweth, he shall also reap. So when you start pulling down, one of these days, it's the own handwriting that you do. And if you get up every morning till you go to your job, and all you're going there to cause confusion, you better stop home. Because they're coming back at you now. So, I am going to tell you, when we pray for the Prime Minister, the country is going to be at peaceful, and we're going to get a quiet life, and we are going to live in honesty. So my brother, don't take on people the mock. When people not come the real thing, don't take them on. All I'm telling you, and I'm telling you seriously, a lot of people don't really understand. You have to give God an account for themselves now. When they start to do all the kind of muck and all kind of dirty deal, you have to give God an account for it.
Yes.
Yes. You understand? So that is it,
yes,
Mr. Patrick. You be good, be strong, and have a pleasant night rest.
Thank you. The Bible man did in fact give us a sermon tonight, but always good to hear you. And like you said, exhort, therefore, that first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings, and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and honesty. That's the Bible verse. That's summoned from my good friend Pastor John James that came tonight. Caller, you're live.
Yes, amen to that, Patrick. Yes,
amen,
tonight,
my brother.
I just want to say, thank God that things are happening in St. Kitts, that we had a next ship at the port today in Port Zante. So, great things are happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. So, tell them, God is the only one that exalted. When man tries to bring you down, God will exalt you. That is, I don't know, but the Prime Minister, he is listening. And he's listening from the voice of God. And he said, we just got to continue to give thanks because God is going to do what he got to do. And as long as we keep our hands in the hand of God, we know that God is going to lead us to safe land. That is, I want to say, I don't know how the Prime Minister get it do, but trust me, this man is a remarkable man. And he is doing a remarkable job. And I'm glad that God's hand is upon him. And because of that, he's going to continue to do what he's doing. And by the grace of God, all the Sambalak and the Tobiah who are bleaching whole by night, they're going to soon be no more. May God continue to bless this nation and keep us in the hollow of his hand as we continue to pray and look up. Because, as John said tonight, promotion cometh not from the east, nor the west, nor the north, nor the south, but promotion comes from God. And as long as Christ in the vessel, we can smile at the star. May God bless you as you continue to inform the people of St. Kitts and Nevis with the message that we are people that believe that God is God, and no one else can take the place of God. And as long as God puts you to do a job, and you do your job proper, God is going to continue to exalt you. So may God bless you as you continue, bring the message to the people, because the message today is that as long as the people of this country continue to take the vaccine and we reach to herd immunity, this country can release and more ships can come, more business can open up, and the hotels them can be up and running, that people of St. Kitts and Nevis can go back to work, and that the country may be breathe again, and that we can get some more finance into the couples, that each and every man can feed their family and pay their bills and make sure that they live a quiet and peaceful life in this present evil world. May God bless you as you continue to do what we are doing by the grace of God. Amen.
Thank you very much. No one could have said it better. That's perhaps why you are a Liburd, Harvey. Thanks for that intervention. You know, as you said, the PM is remarkable. Let's go back to the lines, take a few more calls before we wrap. Call you live.
Hey, Mom. Mr. Liburd.
How are you?
I'm fine. This couple of days, weeks, I want to get on. You have to try to see if you could get the lines them fixed. They're sabotaging you. You're either in a queue or not subscribe to no voicemail. It need urgent looking after. If more people will call you and tell you that, you will get it fixed, but because it's me one, and the callers them know. You think I know on the line since before politics. Anyway, the government don't want no false supervisor to tell them what to do. They have sufficient opposition around them to bring them down. They are crooks. Mr. Liburd, I was listening to an interview with Douglas. How he going on like he in government still. The lady asked him, in his time to know, which better? All he could have said, people want work. We did not have any crisis, and he turned away all PAM people. I could protest to that. Oh, my God. And it's his people working still, and he still he's still saying work just for his people. See you. Good night.
Yes, got you loud and clear. Sounds like Alice in Wonderland, and you're so correct. I listened talking about deaths. I mean, imagine Douglas talking about deaths, innocent kids. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Good evening, Honorable. Now,
good evening, my brother.
Yeah, my good friend there, the Bible man, he need to stop in by Dupan and give him some lesson about the Bible. Now, this man is just disgracing himself and disgracing the Bible. He got the Bible in one hand, and he preaching the Bible and he talking about the Bible. And then 2 minutes after, he moved the Bible from the hand and start to talk about rip off the clothes, push it in this and push it in that and all that. I know we're looking for that to go down on Juni Station, but he reached down there. I don't know how long he gonna last. You know, he talking about people who is married and who disrespecting, and if you see somebody looking for a husband and they notice the man is such and such, don't trouble him. And if the woman is such and such, don't trouble her. And this man, married and talking about he looking for a wife and all kind of thing on radio. You understand me? And come calling me a big stone. You can't call me a big stone. He more big stone than me. You understand me? The fact remains, if he went to school late, as he said, and he learned to read late, he catch up with the reading. But he need to continue to read the Bible more better and how you reading it. Because you can't be married, got a wife living in a house, and talking about you looking for another wife, and you're looking for another woman, and all kind of thing and that, and you could take this and this and do that, because you figure you got a couple of dollars. Begging poor people, dollars, couples, tell them bring couples and things. But he telling the Boy Scout, the Red Cross, the Nemo, all of them, if they want some assistance to help poor people, don't come by his place and all them kind of things. But he begging people to come by his place to bring $1, $5, and them kind of things from the poor who can't pay the light bill, who can't pay the water bill, and who got trouble meeting the mortgage and different things like that. But he's still taking money from them. And then he's going to come and attack the Prime Minister and attack you and say what he wants to say about all you, and all you ain't do a thing to him. Nothing at all. Just because he ain't get what he wants. He just like the guy Ascafan. If you will let Ascafan get away with the pay with the deal he had, you need to be the best of friend. He want to bring a company and recommend them to the government and get 25% of what they pay costs and all them things. And because he ain't get it, you'll do worst thing ever happen in St. Kitts. But you got to wear down patches, and God gonna bless you and bless the Prime Minister. A pity what going on right now, what we're hearing, ain't working right. But knowing the Prime Minister, he pull himself out of anything he get in. Patrick, I just want to interrupt your show. When this when we had the CPL here, I paid my money for a boat downstairs. The man for CPL, I got the letter, I will send it to you anytime you want to see it. To tell Mr. Morton and who else in charge to give us back some of the money. Up to now, CPL done gone, everything done gone, and we can't get back the little funds, what we're supposed to get back. You gonna tell me them things are right? Eh? And they're ignoring you, they're not accepting your call. When you talk to the secretary, she says she's waiting on them, and all them kind of talk. You know, the same way you take the money up front, with no bargain, because we couldn't pay half one time. You wanted all the money one time. And now to give back something, they don't want to give it back. You understand me? But God in the midst. God is in the midst. I can't get back mine, you know. I must get back mine. I could tell you that. I must get back my money. I'm not going to get more than what he bargained for. Because me running for an office and it's them running. Okay? So Patrick, you good night. Have a nice night. All the best goes out to you, the Prime Minister, and the member of government. Some of them. Okay. God bless you, brother.
God bless you as well. I'll just take about 2 more calls before we wrap. If you can't have time for 2 more calls, I'll take this, make this my penultimate call. Caller, you're live. Okay, so I think what happens, perhaps I should just wrap because I've been having some difficulties with my phone. So perhaps I should just wrap my Straight Dog family and apologize in the process for the difficulty been having with this telephone. I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for your understanding. Well, I started today or tonight, you know, as the UN Day and the UN Charter, which speaks in the opening line. It says, "We the people." I spoke to the objective. I also spoke to an opinion by a former Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations who said this, and I quote, that lasting solutions require the pursuit of peace, development, and human rights. They must take place in parallel. There's no peace without development. There's no development without peace. And there's no sustainable peace and development without respect for human rights. And we're told that the UN was not intended to create a world state. Some people say the UN Charter is a global constitution. But I like the words of a former president of the United States. I think he was the 28th president, to be exact, way back in 1913, Woodrow Wilson, who said that the fundamental purpose of the UN is to be the eye of the nations, to keep watch upon the common interest. Straight Talk is the eye of the common people in the Federation as well. We entertain a marketplace of ideas and opinions. But as your host, I will always remind you that everyone is entitled to his own opinion, but not his own facts. That's a quote from Daniel Patrick Moynihan, former senator of some 24 years in the US Senate. I spoke about the cancel culture that has crept in our country as returned.
Whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. should. To my brethren, kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. My mind can see that I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on to reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.